Tonight, the 114th time these programs have met up, and it will be a packed house as Oklahoma sitting at number 7 in the country, coming off 3 very close wins, looking for a 5th consecutive win in this rivalry. A series that started in 1904. Oklahoma's won 4 straight. They've won 88 of the 113 matchups all time, and lately it's been defined by offense. Last 2 matchups, nearly 2,800 yards combined, 209 points between the 2 teams. They both bring in good offenses into this one. The 114th edition. Oklahoma State won the toss and deferred, so Oklahoma will receive it to begin. Set, and off we go from Stillwater. Trey Brown bringing it back for the Sooners. Steps out of a tackle and gets tripped up crossing the 20. The begin of the 22-yard line with a grad transfer from Alabama, Jalen Hurts. 36-3 as a starter now between the 2 programs. He's the 3rd player in NCAA history with 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards over the first 11 games of the season. He's played in plenty of big games. Went 2-1 in the Iron Bowl. He's 1-0 so far in the big rivalry games at Oklahoma, beating Texas earlier this season. His first and only bedlam begins right now. From the 22-yard line, they start things off with a run for Kennedy Brooks. Brooks is close to a 1st down, stopped by the leading tackler for Oklahoma State, Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah, this O-line's been a little bit up and down, but not Creed Humphrey right in the middle of it. He sets the tone. He is really the voice of that Sooner group up front, and CD is the explosive playmaker. Chuba's a home run hitter. Well, so is Lamb on the other side.
One of the top offenses in the country. 45 points per game for the Sooners as Hurts looks to throw for the first time. A man comes free and a catch made by Nick Basquin. The 6th-year senior from Norman, who was held without a catch in the win against TCU last week, has one here for 23.
Yeah, the 6th-year player that's overcome a couple of Achilles injuries, and you know how big this is and how meaningful it is for him. And Jalen just putting enough air to get over the underneath coverage there. Those were a couple shots he missed last week down the field. I think that's a huge key over the course of this game. Can he hit his shots down the field?
Here's Brooks again with a stiff arm. Gets some room and a 1st down. Kennedy Brooks inside the 30. Against this Oklahoma State defense, we mentioned it briefly off of the top. Struggled early on, but they've been playing really well the last month or so.
And a big piece of that stopping the run, and that's not been the case thus far. You see the true freshman there, Trace Ford, in the middle. You know, our 2 difference makers. Amen is a guy that runs sideline to sideline, and look at the career starts outside. Williams and Green will be playing a bunch of man-to-man coverage. They've got to find a way to slow down the run with the 9 others.
Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator, said if those 2 guys play as well as they're capable of, they've got a good shot. Hurts with a straight drop, takes his eyes down, takes off. Jalen Hurts, this is what he does best. Just like that, touchdown Oklahoma. From 28 yards out, and it takes them less than 2 minutes to find the end zone.
Well, one thing you cannot do against an experienced quarterback that is a tremendous runner is turn your back. Watch the Cowboys defensively. The minute Hurts reads man-to-man coverage, he knows there's not even a spy in this case. He knows he's got an opportunity to beat one, and he's gone.
He's carried it 55 times over the last 2 games as Oklahoma's gone more and more towards a run-heavy attack. 64 run plays for 366 yards last week, and a heavy dose on the ground here on the 1st drive.
And you better just
2 matchups in this series, 62-52 and 48-47. This one returnable from inside the 10. Braden Johnson trying to get around the corner. their fastest player is able to salvage something out of it.
This was Adrian Peterson when he played for the Vikings, not for the Sooners, just in case Oklahoma State fans are wondering about that.
Well, they give it to Hubbard on the first play. It is a minimal gain as he's dropped by Neville Gallimore. Out of Edmonton, arrived in 2017. He was the fourth stringer at the time, and so he redshirted. Became the starter down the stretch last year when Justice Hill went down with an injury. 15 career starts, 13 of them he's rushed for 100 or more. The quarterback Drew Brown, second start in an Oklahoma State uniform, and he hits Hubbard out of the backfield. Now Brown, who started his career at the junior college level at the College of San Mateo, then went to Hawaii, was a starter for 2 seasons there, but wanted a chance at the big time, and so came to Oklahoma State, lost out on the job last year, lost out on the job again this year, and it was looking like his career here was going to come to a close without getting his shot. Spencer Sanders has the injury. Brown gets his chance last week against West Virginia and played really well. One
of those marvelous stories that you just never know when it's your time, either out of high school, through junior college, and what a moment for him and a stage to perform.
On third and short, it's Hubbard finding a seam for an Oklahoma State first down. Carries it 26 times per game, and this group up front is going to need to pave the way for him tonight.
Yeah, and that was a little guard pull there with Marcus Keys. He has started 48 games for these Cowboys. The left guard and all-conference performer, I think, will be again here in the 2019 season. Some moving pieces outside. Dylan Stoner has stepped up. All 5 of his touchdown receptions, they've been this month. With the absence of Tylan Wallace, they needed Stoner to emerge, and he has.
Brown with a first down throw. It is Stoner on the screen. Spun his way away from the first man, but still lost a yard as Delarian Turner-Yell and Marquez Overton came up to stop him.
Well, Chuba's not the only Canadian star in this game. You got one right in the middle of that Oklahoma defense in Neville Gallimore. The senior's played a ton of ball and is very, very active. An active group at the second level with Kenneth Murray as well. And a secondary that's been beleaguered that's going to have to run and tackle tonight.
Hubbard into the short side with room, and Chuba hits the sideline into Oklahoma territory for his first big play of the day. Goes for 22, first down Cowboys.
We talk about Marcus Keys, the left guard. Look at him get to the second level. That's all you got to do. You don't need to pancake block. You don't need to maul people. Simply get on the edges of these Sooner defenders and allow Chuba to explode. The guy is a glider with incredible power. And those yards he just churns for.
You know, Brock, they say that while he's otherworldly fast, the guy that comes in for him here, L.D. Brown, has raced him several times and beaten him several times. He's in there to block as Brown gets rid of it, finds a crossing Johnson, and Braden Johnson is inside the 10. It's first and goal at Oklahoma State.
This has been part of the challenge here for Oklahoma defensively. You don't even need good play-action pass. About goes the other way. And just too much speed crossing the face there of Trey Brown, the corner, who could never catch up.
Braden Johnson, high school track champ in Arlington, Texas. Better than 20 yards per catch this season. Goes for a big one there. First and goal, here's L.D. Brown stepping away from Radley Hiles inside the 5 to the 3, and it's second and goal. As the redshirt junior from Dallas, who hasn't seen much time just because Chuba carries so much of the load, shows off what he can do.
Yeah, and these two offenses are showing off what they're all about. I think I've heard you say track about 4 different times. Get some cinder blocks. Get these guys out there, man. We got some speedsters in Stillwater.
Hubbard comes back in on second and goal. Alex Grinch, first season as the D coordinator, has completely turned this defense around, although the last few weeks, kind of not sure what you're going to get. Boom or bust defensively. Here's Hubbard. Breaks a tackle, reaches for the goal line. He's in for the Oklahoma State touchdown. First time that Oklahoma has allowed a score on the opponent's first drive this season. Matt Amendola on his senior day to attempt the extra point and tie the game at 7.
Yeah, these two teams have averaged 1,200 yards. 1,200 yards the last 5 matchups together.
The 12 plays in this game so far, 5 of them have gone for 20 plus. Here's a short kick that gives Trey Brown a chance. He gets to the 26.
Especially when it is swirling as it tends to do in this stadium.
Ramondre Stevenson into the game at running back for the first time. He takes the fake. Hurts retreating, waiting for somebody to come loose. Look for Willis, incomplete. This is an Oklahoma team, and we mentioned it after their last touchdown, but 64 runs for 366 yards against TCU. And Mike Gundy this week, somebody asked him about this Sooner offense. He said, look, they're a wishbone team lined up in the spread. And Lincoln Riley said he took it as
he wasn't offended at all. He loved the wishbone. Did a lot of dynamic things in that system for a lot of years in Norman.
The motion man is CeeDee Lamb. Hurts under pressure. He gets sacked. First to get there was Jarek Bernard, and it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, and this was disguised a little bit better than that opening drive. Bernard looks like he's going to motion out. You're going to see the motion come, and you're going to see Bernard widen here. And I think Jalen thinks he's going to go out with that motion right there, and he does not. Instead, he pins his ears back, and like any great pass rusher, you got to get flat. And Bernard does it. These DBs very active in their tackle for loss and sack game. Jim Knowles, the D coordinator, likes to be aggressive.
And boy, wasn't he ever when he needed to most in the final minutes at West Virginia last week. Bringing heat, keeping him out of the end zone in the final drive to hang on 20-13. Hurts given time. He's got Stevenson outside, and the running back has a reception to pick it up, a gain of 24.
And you do not see that very often, right? Many times these running backs, they're just kind of out there doing nothing, running 5-yard little hitches or curls. Not in the Sooner system. That is a 15-yard curl by a tailback out there in the very soft zone coverage. I guarantee you, Williams, these two corners did not think that he's going to see a running back on a 15-yard curl. But the Sooners do, and Jalen puts it on the money to move the sticks.
A running back who says he models his game after Marshawn Lynch. You ever see Marshawn Lynch run a curl? Here comes CeeDee Lamb in the jet sweep. One of the best big play players in the country. Happens to be our one to watch tonight, sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side.
Can I go back to the Marshawn? And that answer is a no. He ran hitches and swings and slants. He had great hands, actually. And so does CeeDee Lamb. Not as many targets as you see, but look at the damage in those touchdowns down the field. And not surprised. He wasn't real involved in the offense a week ago. Not surprised to see him involved early, even if it is in the run game.
They missed the Baylor game in concussion protocol, then had a season-low 16 yards last week on just 2 catches. Here's Brooks. And he's stopped by Malcolm Rodriguez. The 205-pound inside linebacker makes it 3rd and short.
Do I ever love his story? How many high school quarterbacks do you see? The 6,000-yard passer, by the way, and a 3-time champ, that are also state wrestling champs. It doesn't happen. He came in here as a safety. He grew up into a linebacker, and there's a little bit of a wrestling move as he got behind the pullers and makes the tackle to force a 3rd down.
Wagner, Oklahoma. 3rd down and 2 for the Sooners. Brooks straight ahead. 1st down inside the 40.
That's really good movement right there. That is just a wave of movement by everybody on that Oklahoma offensive line. That is one of the real big keys with what they do. If they can create that movement, be it on a zone run, they love their counter. But if they can mow down those Cowboy defenders like that, with that kind of movement between Hayes and Humphrey and crew, Bill Bedenbaugh will be smiling all night.
It's the O-line coach. They're considered the best offensive line in the country last year. Had to replace a bunch. Hurts off of the read play, dances into open space and gets close to another 1st down.
And honestly, that play right there is why, you know, Gundy says this is a wishbone offense. That's Georgia Tech with a little B back right in front, leading the way for the quarterback. In fact, Hurts more carries than any of the military academy triple option quarterbacks. He loves to run it.
3 carries already in this one for 35 yards.
That old Georgia Tech triple option system, the Naval Academy, you know, their system. There are some similarities with the QB run.
On 2nd and 2, back to throw. Hurts gets flushed. He steps up and runs for a 1st down with another tackle from Malcolm Rodriguez.
But I'll tell you what you've not seen a lot. And by the way, stepping up is exactly what Mike Gundy was concerned about. He wanted lane discipline more than anything else. But look at the different eyes back there, right? You can see that dropper, that spy defender back there, making sure he's got his eyes. That time it was Harvell Peel, the strong safety. Not turning your back and allowing number one to just run free. But navigating that pocket, the discipline to stay in your rush lanes, a big key that Mike Gundy talked to us about.
Gundy's been here in Stillwater 30 of the last 35 years, either as a player or an assistant or as the head coach. Hurts evades the first man, but two more orange shirts surround him, and it's Amen Ogbongbemiga that brings him down. What a game he played last week in Morgantown.
He sure did, and it was the true freshman, Trace Ford, that got in there immediately. Watch number 94 tonight. He's right in the middle. He comes up that A-gap. That is a tough block for Kennedy Brooks right there, but they will move him everywhere. And that is what you've got to do to Jalen. You've got to create chaos. You've got to take his eyes away from downfield action. And look at that rush if you want a chance to bring him down.
On second and long, they give it to Brooks, trying to get to the outside, steps away from Sterling, turns the corner, and sets up third down and much more manageable. It was Trace Ford that ran him out. Lincoln Riley, one of the great offensive minds in the game. Now, last week, a win, but it ended a streak of 20 consecutive games where they'd scored at least 34. Looking at 3rd and 6 here. Four options into the near side for Hurts. Oklahoma State brings pressure. Hurts stands in, lofting for Lamb. End zone! He can't get it. Incomplete, 4th down. Sterling in coverage. What a job to get that hand in there.
I would say pretty sterling coverage, because
Nice.
most safeties, Joe, what do they do in that situation against one of the nation's best receivers? They panic. Right? They go to the body. They interfere. He didn't. Trey watched the eyes. He watched the hands come up, and just at just the right time, he knocks that ball away.
Tell you what, there are some really good kickers in college football this year, and this is one of them. Gabe Burkich, the redshirt freshman, coming right into your living room and is still perfect. 13 for 13 this season for a guy who wasn't even the starter to begin the year.
Drew Brown is steady. He's not been in this moment or on this stage much, and you certainly want to still use your superstar, which is your running back.
Teams first met in 1904 in Guthrie, Oklahoma. It was a 75-0 Oklahoma win, and the first touchdown in that game was one of the oddest touchdowns in football history. The punter punted it straight up. It was a gusty day like today. The wind blew it directly behind him, went down the hill into a creek that was nearby. So the teams went running after it, and Oklahoma came out of the river, the cold river, with it for the touchdown. Here's Tuba, first down, crossing the 35.
And they never blew the play dead.
No, back then there was no end line, and so play wasn't dead until somebody recovered it. So they all went diving into the creek. Wet ball drill, new meaning. Brown to throw on this windy day. That's off the hands of the normally reliable Stoner.
And you saw that a little bit this morning in Michigan, Ohio State. Not just the quarterbacks that got to deal and navigate with the wind. It's the receivers as well. The Wolverines dropped a number of passes. And Dillon, one of the most sure-handed Cowboy receivers. But that ball can move at just that last moment. And I guarantee you Alex Grinch on that side is hoping these winds continue to gust all night long.
Boy, it sure has been a roller coaster ride for his defense. In his first season on the job. Brown off play action on second down, wants it all, and he's going to get a flag. But Johnson beating Trey Brown, held on for dear life, and the flag comes out.
Yeah, and that is why it's been a ride for Alex Grinch. I mean, those are things that you would expect an experienced player like Brown to just not lose sense and sight of where he is. The cushion gets closed, and he just reaches. I mean, that's a freshman, sophomore mistake, not somebody that's played a bunch of ball as a Sooner.
And who they consider one of their fastest players. Figure would have a shot to keep up with Johnson.
Pass interference. Defense number 6. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
listen to the wind howling in Reggie's microphone.
Yeah, and they put Trey right on the bench over there. And he's a bit frustrated. I think the staff's frustrated. I mean, those are just fundamental techniques that you work on. You got to play through.
Quickly into the hands of the former walk-on, Landon Wolf, who's earned a scholarship. First reception of the day goes for 5. Stopped by Jaden Davis. An Oklahoma defense that a week ago gave up just 204 yards. That was the fewest in 2 years, but it comes after they gave up 48 in the loss against Kansas State, 41 in the narrow win against Iowa State, and 31 in the first half against Baylor.
And it's a consistency, just series in and series out, right? It's 3 good plays is their messaging repeatedly over this last month.
Heavy dose of pass on this drive. Here's Johnson again. He's got a first down, but the ball comes out, and Oklahoma's got it. Parnell Motley, who's looking for redemption in this Bedlam game after he was benched against Oklahoma State a year ago, has the recovery for the Sooners.
And that is the great neutralizer. And you're going to see Motley come in, and maybe, well, the other veteran on the other side got benched for kind of losing his mind a little bit. Motley does exactly what you would expect a senior to do. And that is with the receiver that has stood up, you go in and you reach and you claw and you tear for that football.
As they've won 4 in a row. Sooners take over at the 44-yard line. And Kennedy Brooks gets 3. The 7th run for Kennedy Brooks, and this one breaks for a big one inside the 35. Let's check in now with Amber Theo-Harris in Los Angeles for a T-Mobile Game Break.
Joe, Colorado at number 6, Utah. The Utes fighting for a playoff spot. Tyler Huntley, he's making a late Heisman push. He finds Brant Kuithe 38 yards for the touchdown, and Utah ties it up at 7 in the second quarter. Joe and Brock.
Of course, Oklahoma fans, big Colorado fans tonight. All day to throw, and Hurts takes advantage. A strike to Lee Morris to make it 1st and goal.
And there's that zone coverage again, really after being gashed early in that man-to-man. Cowboys have gone to zone, trying to get eyes into the backfield, but not a deep enough drop. Right, and that is a perfectly executed play. Quarterback drops it over the linebackers and the safeties, and right in front of the free safety back there, where one of the best interception makers, Harbel Peel, has no chance as Lee Morris delivers yet again.
1st and goal from the 6. It's Hurts. Trey Sterling brings him down. So it will be 2nd and goal for Oklahoma when the second quarter begins. They've got a 10-7 lead, looking for their 4th consecutive win and looking for the 4th time in 5 years to rally from a loss to have a case for the college football playoff. Ready to start the second quarter in a 10-7 game, and Oklahoma looking at 2nd and goal. Offset is Brooks. In motion is Lamb. They toss it to him. It's the reverse. Basquin throws, and it's Hurts for the touchdown. Lincoln Riley digging into the bag of tricks for the score.
I don't even know if we can call this Philly special anymore, because everybody has branded it. And there's a little bit of risk associated with this on a windy night, right? All the ball handling that it requires to go to CeeDee Lamb, and then the pitch to Basquin, and you can watch Jalen sell it pretty easily. That little pitch has some high risk, and then Basquin puts it right on the money.
No receiver doesn't think about the wind when he's throwing. That spiral cuts right through it. And Hurts adds a receiving touchdown to his ledger.
This Lincoln Riley guy, he's had #1 offenses year after year after year for a reason, because, man, he knows how to call it.
17-7, Oklahoma in front after the Nick Basquin touchdown pass to Jalen Hurts. And check out Nick Basquin after the touchdown doing the Dak Prescott hip thing. That's so good.
These guys have any fun playing in this offense?
Wouldn't you?
Oh.
I don't know that you would have been the best fit, but I'm sure it would have been fun for you to try. Jalen Hurts so far tonight, 3 for 5, 75 yards passing. Got that touchdown catch. He's also done it on the ground so far.
To your point there, people wondered what would the fit be with Jalen in this system. It's done a lot more of this through the air over the years with Kyler and Baker. I don't know if anybody anticipated 180 rushes through 11 games for Jalen Hurts. You know, many of them been the run variety or this one, the pass where, you know, it's obvious man-to-man coverage and he explodes for that touchdown to set the tone. And this was a big play. That was a 3rd and extra long. The completion to Rhamondre to keep that drive alive, and ultimately Basquin with the touchdown.
A first down pass play. They throw the speed out to Dylan Stoner.
Lots of rushing touchdowns this year. A bunch of passing touchdowns. Now he can add a receiving touchdown to that list as well with the leading touchdown maker in college football.
Chuba Hubbard scared it 5 times for 45 yards so far. He's got it again here. Waits for the hole to develop. Good vision to make a little subtle cut and glide his way for a first down.
And I think this is really imperative that these Cowboys possess the ball on this drive. You know, Mike Gundy is a guy that takes in the whole big picture. And look at that hole once again. Good movement by Oklahoma State up front. Got to keep the defense on the sidelines.
Stoner got a block. And step close to a first down. You know, you're always going to get a heavy dose of Chuba Hubbard, but especially with the injuries that they've had with Tylan Wallace, who is the nation's leading receiver at the time of the injury at the end of October, and then Spencer Sanders, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who is getting better and better before the thumb injury and the subsequent surgery. There's a chance he'll come back for the bowl game, but this is Drew Brown's night. On 2nd and short, they'll let him throw. Dumps it off. Hubbard on a screen as the first down. Boy, they used him more in the passing game than they had all season last week at West Virginia.
Yeah, you got to get him as many touches as possible. I'll say this about Drew Brown. Through 5.5 quarters, he's shown why it was a really good competition through the spring and in the training camp for the QB job. And really, Spencer won it because of his legs, his ability to run. But Drew is a competent player. He's playing confidently, and I see him distributing the ball to everybody tonight.
He's 8 for 9. The one incompletion was a drop that was thrown perfectly. Facing pressure here. Scans the field. Now he rolls and gets rid of it. A poor decision, and it's picked off by Parnell Motley. Motley stays on his feet to the 31. Just when we're talking about the good decision making for the senior, he throws it right to Motley. And back-to-back turnovers for Oklahoma State.
And have yourself a night, Parnell. He has the strip fumble on the previous possession. Does he catch this inbounds? That will be the only question. And I think that is worth another look.
Rolling on the field is an interception, and that the interceptor stayed in bounds. We'll review the play.
College football fans know well at this point. Key is, what was the call on the field? The call on the field is that he was in bounds. My knee-jerk reaction is that that is too close to overturn.
I would agree with you. And I think sometimes as a quarterback, you got to be very, very careful when you look at a defense that's not taking the ball away very much this year, because these takeaways, as defensive guys know, can come in bunches, and that's 2 really big ones tonight for the Sooners.
Been a great day of college football on Fox. Dean Blandino, our rules expert in Los Angeles, has been along for the entire ride. Dean, what'd you see?
Well, it's a really good stoppage by the replay official because this is really close. It's that right foot at the sideline. And I don't know if we have a look that says it's definitively out of bounds. Remember, they ruled that he was in bounds. It has to be obvious to overturn. This is probably our best look. Really tough to say that that foot is clearly out. And again, at least what we have so far, I think this call has to stand.
Yeah, it is just that heel back there. That'd be the only question that I'm sure every Oklahoma State fan that's sitting in here saying, man, that heel is out of bounds. That heel's on the white line. But that call on the field was an interception, and you can see the linesman looking right down at those feet immediately. We got crystal clear images. We got slow-mo. We got all the replays. But that head linesman's got eyes on it 3 yards away. He's looking at it. And I think because it was called an interception on the field, it will remain. Finding ways to finish.
After further review, Oklahoma number 11's right heel was out of bounds when he touched the pass.
Oklahoma State 2nd and 10 at the Oklahoma 49. Put it in the sure hands of Chuba Hubbard, who's got a huge hold off the right side, but there was a reason for that. There's a flag down as Deshaun White angles him out.
There is no foul on the play for a face mask. It's first down.
So no flag. Dean, did your jaw drop like Brock thought it might have?
Maybe a little bit. Again, replay is there to fix the obvious error. And to me, that's not obvious. It was so close, you wanted to really jump out. But again, they thought he was out, and that's the call they went with.
Hubbard again sneaks his way through, and he was gone if Radley Hiles didn't get a hold of that foot.
Well, as much as Oklahoma is moving people up front, how about these Cowboys? I told you they didn't have to be perfect blocks, but you're getting perfect blocks, right? You're getting Johnny Wilson driving the Sooners into the ground, and those are lanes that anybody, I think, can run through.
Already 73 yards for Hubbard, who cuts it against the grain, loses the football, but gets it back as Ronnie Perkins got his hand on it. And it's 3rd down and about 6 or 7.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. A group that has been so good over a stretch here lately of not putting the ball on the ground. Went through some rough bumps earlier this year. They have cleaned it up. That is now 3 different occasions putting the ball in harm's way.
And as you saw, it was Radley Hiles, not Perkins. 3rd down 6. Hubbard checks out. They bring L.D. Brown in. He motions out. Here comes Drew Brown. Drew Brown running for close to a 1st down, and he's got it.
You know what? That's a new little wrinkle here. And Drew is saying, I may not be the runner that Spencer is, but you call a designed QB draw, and you get those linemen down the field, athletic enough to navigate through and understand where the 1st down marker was.
That is his longest run this season. And it converts on 3rd down, 1st and 10 at the 25.
It feels like Bedlam.
Jeez. Isn't it fun? I mean, what an incredible rivalry this is. Here comes a trick play. They saw Oklahoma's, and they're raising them one of their own, but it doesn't work nearly as well as Braden Johnson gets dropped by David Agwebu.
That's a true freshman playing in his first Bedlam, and David Agwebu, a huge play to keep containment. So often that active defense, right? And you look out there and these guys move and stunt, and they love to run sideline to sideline. Give some real credit to the true freshman staying home and busting up that play.
Well, it's spread out, but really just 2 true receivers and then 2 Cowboy backs that are deployed out wide. 2nd down 16. Only a 3-man rush, so time to deliver on the out pattern at Stoner.
I like that concept. You have the Cowboy backs in, so you keep the big personnel for Oklahoma on the field, right? Then you can still spread it and get that one-on-one matchup you're looking for.
We figured we'd see a lot of 2 tight end sets tonight for Mike Gundy's team. Trying to accentuate their strengths. They have been running the football, the size advantage they have up front. 3rd down and 10 here. Play action. Stoner can't get it with a coverage from Trey Brown, who earlier was yanked for back-to-back poor plays, but he's back in and makes a nice one here.
I think that ball just a little bit behind on a windy night when you've got coverage that is this tight. And yeah, there's a lot of hands. on Stoner right there, and Trey got the call earlier, not this time. There's a bunch of hands, there's a bunch of contact. Man, usually that draws that amount of contact impeding the receiver, draws a penalty, but Brown gets away with it.
Matt Amendola, 3-year starter, but in a whipping wind. From 43. Just enough. Jake McClure sends this one away. And Oklahoma will begin at the 25-yard line. Time now for the look of
contact over the course of the game, something he also thrives in.
Big, strong, takes a lot of pride, a lot of confidence in that. Hands it off to Kennedy Brooks. Brooks with a solid first down gain, got stopped by Israel Antoine.
You know, as we all watched the game this morning with Gus and Joel and Jenny, I thought a really good point early in the game. There was some physical play outside, and they let those Ohio State corners play. And Joel said, hey, man, if you're going to call it that way, better be consistent the rest of the way. Same thing tonight. If you're not going to call that pass interference on Stoner, that's fine. But that strike zone has to remain the same the rest of the night.
A lot of pre-snap movement from the Cowboys. Then they drop 8. So Hurts with tight windows to look through. He'll tuck it and run and dive for a first down.
Well, part of the reason it went well in the first stretch of the season is this O-line was playing really well. And it was often that Jalen would find himself with that much time in the pocket to survey, to move around, and then ultimately to escape. These Sooners up front are dominating this game. They're doing it with their zone run. They're doing it with their counter run. And you can just see the size and the strength. 4 new starters. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster this season. And you see Proctor in there at left tackle. He settled things down the last 2 weeks.
Pressure coming on first down. He quickly gets rid of it in rhythm to Charleston Rambo. It's not something we see a ton of from Jalen Hurts. A straight drop and a throw in rhythm.
That's exactly right. And because I think most of these teams over the last month have tried to take that first one away. But when you're not stopping the run, it makes it so difficult to do that. Right? These Sooners are very, very balanced. Jalen's having his way on the ground as well. And that pocket's been very secure.
Looking for CeeDee Lamb. First touch tonight for Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb, a big play machine, rides the block of Charleston Rambo for 24 yards to the 32.
And this is a Cowboy defense that will give up some yards. They've given up a bunch of them. They will try to keep plays in front of them. But the challenge is if you miss that tackle right there, right, those throws underneath the zone coverage become explosive plays. And that too often has been the story here in the first half.
Lamb moves over 1,000 yards for the season. Hurts moves over 100 yards for the night. Brooks, couple of blockers in front. Kennedy Brooks with a cut. And another Oklahoma first down to the 16.
Just look at the wave in the just the initial front side blockers and then the backside polar. The Virginia transfer Proctor coming through. Jeremiah Hall staying on his block. I think Kennedy likes playing against these guys. 165 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns a season ago in Bedlam as a freshman there in Norman, and he's finding his way tonight in Stillwater.
Underrated player. Don't hear a ton about him, but another good season for him. Hurts pulls it. And Bong Bamiga gets the tackle along with Tyler Lacey. Second and 6. Bubble screen, CeeDee Lamb. Jarek Bernard was waiting for him. A gain of 2, and it's 3rd and 4.
Okay, so you play this style of ball, right, defensively? Doing all you can to try to limit the explosive plays, at least down the field. Keep eyes on the quarterback as he runs. Then you've got to get stops in the red zone. Right, you can allow those yards 20-20, but in your building, in a rivalry game, this is where you have to hold these Sooners to field goals.
This is where they won the game at West Virginia. West Virginia was 0 for 3, turning red zone trips into touchdowns last week. 3rd and 4. And 4 options into the short side of the field for Hurts. The lone man to the top, CeeDee Lamb.
1-on-1.
First looks left. checks it down. It's Hall, whose knee is down, couldn't get going, and they do force the field goal team to come out.
And count me as very surprised. You put those kind of numbers into the short side of the field to do what? To leave your star player all the room in the world. That was CeeDee Lamb to the top of the field, and you go the other way.
Didn't even look up there.
Nope. And that's nothing against Jeremiah Hall. And he's got 3 touchdowns this year, and he's more than capable. But I've got CeeDee Lamb in a one-on-one. I'm looking his way.
Okay, Burkett already hit from 43. Here he is from 27. He's now 14 for 14 on the season. Bradley Hiles comes to hold it. And Burkett sends it away. Johnson with the juggle will bring it back from the goal line. Morris is waiting for him. Good special teams work by Oklahoma.
November focus. It's worked well the last few years. The pieces are falling the right way right now.
Drive begins from the 20-yard line. Chuba Hubbard with a block from Jelani Woods. That's stacked up by Caleb Kelly. College football playoff rankings and the results so far today. Of course, the question is, if Utah wins the Pac-12 championship over Oregon, if Oklahoma wins this game and beats Baylor next week, which one of those 2 teams gets in? Hubbard again on 2nd down. This time Overton hit him at the line of scrimmage, and he settled for a gain of 2. Pat Fields finished him off.
Resumes matter. Eye test matters. How do you play? How's your defense play if you're Oklahoma? You know what you can do offensively, but the last month, that defense, you've had no game control because of it. Utah's been dominant. Really, since that USC loss, they have throttled just about everybody and have been suffocating defensively.
3rd and 6. Brown throwing the slant, an adjustment and a 1st down for Jordan McCray. And the transfer from South Alabama on his first touch tonight goes for 15. That's a big play right there.
That is a big play, and that is a nice dart from Drew Brown, the quarterback. Just a slant here. You're going to get one-on-ones against this scheme. Look at the safeties. Look at the people committed to stopping Chuba. So you will get one-on-ones outside. The ball just whizzes by the hands of Kenneth Murray there. And if you're a receiver for Oklahoma State, after that last possession, Dylan Stoner and crew, you know one thing. This is going to be physical. And you got to use your big body, get in front of these undersized corners.
From the 34 on the boot, Brown with his eyes downfield underneath Landon Wolf. For a short gain, and we go down to Bruce.
Joe, when Drew Brown was in high school, he was only about 5'10". He went to a camp at Nevada, and he impressed one of the Nevada assistants who liked the way he threw the ball on the run, said he had a high release, which kind of made up for the lack of height. That Nevada assistant wasn't able to offer him, but when he went to Hawaii, that's Nick Rolovich. He's the head coach, followed him to junior college and said he was thrilled to have him. Sorry to see him leave, though, to go to Oklahoma State as a grad transfer.
Gain of 4 for Hubbard and 3rd down coming up. Yeah, he tore it up at College of San Mateo for a year and then goes to Hawaii, takes over the job as a sophomore. Good numbers, more than 5,000 yards, 37 touchdowns in those 2 seasons, but he had always had this dream of playing big-time college football. So that's why he came to Stillwater, and it was looking like he wasn't going to have a shot to actually take the field in that role. The final 2 games of his final season, he's the man. On 3rd and 4, Sooners bring pressure. He's got one-on-one. He's got Stoner. Drops it in. 1st down inside the 20.
It's become one of the most popular routes in college football in the NFL as well. This inside fade route, where you just have so much green grass to throw to, and you typically get mismatches. Like that one, your best receiver on the strong safety. And with Stoner just getting a step on him, and with all that room, even on a windy night, Drew Brown on it, and let the best receiver in this month of November for these Cowboys run underneath it.
For 43 yards. I'm really impressed with how both quarterbacks are throwing despite the wind. Inside the 20, they hand it off to Hubbard. Into the arms of Kenneth Murray.
You know what I'm really impressed with as well is Sean Gleason and Mike Gundy, after that near interception, did not throttle it back. Many times play callers, I think, get a little bit nervous, right? They're trying to gain that trust with a nice tackle of Kenneth Murray, but you're trying to gain that trust of your quarterback, and this is where you just got to trust. Even though he's not been in your system, a 5th-year senior, to flush the only one negative play and come back and respond, putting the ball right back in his hands.
2nd and 4, option play. And Brown will lower the shoulder. Stopped by Delarian Turner Yell. 3rd and 1. From Los Gatos High School to the College of San Mateo to Hawaii to Oklahoma State. And the biggest stage during the regular season they've got. 114th edition of Bedlam.
The guys are playing for him and they're playing behind him. That's what Sean Gleason said about this crew. When Drew Brown got this opportunity, they wanted to be their best for him.
3rd and short in the hands of Hubbard. Chuba stopped and started and leaned, and it looked like got enough. So clock winds inside a minute. This is setting up perfectly in terms of that clock for the Cowboys. 1st down and goal.
Look at that hair just blowing.
Oh, man. Looks like an ad for Pantene, something. All 3 timeouts left for Oklahoma State. Down to 30 seconds. Stoner motions across the formation and now comes back. Hubbard gets pulled down by Nick Bonito. And now Oklahoma State uses the first of those 3 timeouts. We'll take it with them with 22 left. Got the 6'6" Jordan McCray to the top of the screen, one-on-one against the 5'10" Jaden Davis. He's looking in that direction, throwing the slant to him. McCray inside the 5 and yanked down by Murray. They'll use their 2nd timeout. They pack it in tight. Flags fly. Perhaps so much for that option.
False start. Offense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That was Brandon Cassidy,
Yeah,
or Braden Cassidy, a defensive lineman who would also come in.
He's right here in that movement. And you said it right there. He's a D lineman. And when those D linemen for Oklahoma moved pre-snap, which is what they do, took advantage of the tight end.
So they spread it out again. 3rd and goal from the 8. They still hand it off, and Chuba's going nowhere. Surrounded by Sooners. First man there was Ronnie Perkins. Cowboys will use their final timeout, and the field goal team will take the field. That Amendola had just enough to get it in from 43 earlier. This one from 25 and straight on. It hooks through to Fox College Football, powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. In the first half stats, pretty even between these 2 teams, with Oklahoma in front, 20-13. Hurts 7 of 9, Brown 14 of 17. Here we go with the 2nd half. And a touchback. His 2nd half begins at the 25-yard line. And it is Chuba Hubbard, stopped by Kenneth Murray, but there's going to be a face mask here. And while they sort that out, he mentioned the Oklahoma GT play. What is that?
Yeah, that's that guard and tackle pull. It's what they love to do, and you will see more of it. And I think you're right. You're going to get a face mask here. And some conversation about it, actually. And I think this is was it the helmet, the side of the helmet, or actually on the mask? That's the conversation.
There is no foul for a face mask on the play. It's 2nd down.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And credit Reggie Smith and his crew here. I think it is on the side of the helmet there, almost by the ear hole. He never actually grabs. It doesn't look like the headgear.
You can almost see him thinking through it, right? Keeping those fingers out, not grasping. So instead of the 15-yarder, 2nd and 9.
I think you heard the locals. They don't agree with that call.
Not one bit. They got a good look at it on this monster video board. They run into the corner blitz, and a fumble is forced. Parnell Motley has been all over the place. Tevin Jenkins, the junior tackle, fell on it, and it's 3rd down.
And this is rare. Chuba has not fumbled this season. Among all the other remarkable things he's done, he's not put the ball on the ground, but Parnell, credit, you're right. He ripped Stoner away from the ball earlier. That's not the 2nd time the ball bounces the Cowboys' way.
On 3rd and 4, it's the slant, and it's broken up by Jaden Davis. Intended receiver Braden Johnson, but Oklahoma on the first drive of the second half delivers a 3-and-out.
And those are 3 good snaps. The messaging in that locker room at halftime with Alex Grinch, a 3-and-out. You need 3 good snaps. It was Kenneth Murray on snap 1, Parnell Motley number 2, and that time the true freshman Jaden Davis says, not so fast. You've been running these in-breaking little slant routes in the first half. We're going to be very aggressive jumping it. I guarantee you will see a slant and go at some point in the final 29 minutes of this game, as the Sooners have been really active on that quick game.
Very Bedlam-like first punt comes after halftime. And the freshman Tom Hutton takes a good bounce for him. Out of bounds at the 20.
Lincoln Riley told Bruce how much he liked his defensive effort. They played hard.
They'll start the half with play action. Hurts thinking big, launches this ball, double coverage and incomplete. CeeDee Lamb or Charleston Rambo, the intended receiver. Harvell Peel and Green were all over him. There's a flag down.
And you're flirting with danger when you're throwing it Harvell Peel's way.
Yeah, 5 turnovers forced in the last 3 games by that man. It actually was not a flag. It was a yellow scrap blowing its way onto the field. One of the hand warmers, I guess. Probably Bruce's. 2nd and 10. Hurts bounce into the outside. And there is Colby Harvell Peel. It's not just been the takeaways. This guy has emerged in a big way. The Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week 3 times here in his sophomore season.
And I really love the way his coordinator Jim Knowles said he's just seeing it. Like a quarterback that sees it and reacts. Quarterback of that defense on the back end has got such a feel right now. And this is a big 3rd and 9 with this wind howling in the stadium that's trying to help that defense.
Oklahoma was able to force the first Oklahoma State punt of the game on the first drive of the second half. Now can Oklahoma State do the same?
Offense. Illegal substitution, 12 men in the formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd and 14 instead.
And that doesn't help matters coming out of the second half. Lincoln Riley's looking at that call sheet. He's got a lot of stuff that works, but it gets much more difficult in these windy conditions in this down and distance.
See what Jim Knowles dials up defensively. 10 men stand, trying to make the picture a cloudy one for Hurts. He rushes only 3, so Hurts will have time. He steps up in the pocket. He scans the field. He's running out of time and sacked. 3rd time today that Oklahoma State brings Hurts down in the backfield. And it was the true freshman, Trace Ford.
And this kid is going to be a good one in Stillwater. He never, ever gives up on the play. You see 8 guys in coverage, 8 eyes in that backfield, including the 9th. Really with that spy on Jalen to make sure he had nowhere to go. I think the coaching point, if you're going to see this in these 3rd downs to Jalen next time, is you got to just go. Just trust it and pull that ball down and do the damage with your legs.
Reeves Munchau with his first punt. It's a good high punt and a fair catch from Stoner, and a lot of times it's cliche. Just go back to
Order. The back judge will be keeping the play clock on the field.
Wow, the wind has blown the play clock out of function. How does that affect you as a quarterback at all?
You got to then watch for the signal from, I think it is that back judge that will hold up his hand at the 10-second mark to indicate, give you at least a sense of where it's at.
Brown on the pull read with the attention on Hubbard. He steals the show, hurdling his way for a first down, and you gotta love this Drew Brown.
These are the stories that make college football, right? Nothing ever handed to him. One-year starter in high school, goes to junior college, right? Ultimately ends up with one offer to Hawaii, sits here for the last year and a half, and man, is he making the most of this moment.
Back to the air, to the outside. Johnson makes a man miss, and now down the sideline. Radley Hiles pushes him out. 36 yards for Braden Johnson, and it's first down, Oklahoma State.
You hurdle on the first, and you put this one on the back shoulder right there, and that gives the receiver an opportunity, Johnson in this case, to feel that corner. Right, if that ball's low, if it's high, it's going to be a catch and a hit. Instead, he puts it on his chest and allows Johnson to wiggle away in that one-on-one and create yet another explosive play.
Are you going to say it? Who's this number 6 starting to look a little like?
One who's watching, I think.
The number 6 in this state. Will Baker Mayfield look to him? Here comes Stoner. Looking for a cutback lane. Won't find it. Look, he's not Baker Mayfield, but he's wearing the same numbers, playing with the same confidence Baker always played with at Oklahoma, and then showing off the wheels and the hurdle the last time he touched it.
And at 5'10",
Right.
200 pounds, got the hand warmer. Baker, doesn't matter the weather, always has a little hand warmer. The arm sleeve, got the whole look going tonight.
I'm saying.
Most importantly, though, he's got the game going.
2nd down, 11. He's back to throw. It's a screen that was read beautifully that time by Nick Bonito, the freshman rush in, and it's 3rd and 11.
Yeah, and that actually is a really smart play. Right, just avoid the negative. It's a screen. There's going to be men downfield, and they cover Jelani Woods. He's the cowboy back. He's the guy that they were going to feature down in the red zone.
In the vicinity, 3rd down.
And credit Nick Bonito. We've seen it from Awebu. There's the discipline of those edge defenders for Oklahoma doing their job.
Cowboys 5 of 8 on 3rd down today. Here's 3rd and 11. He's given time, checks it down. That's not going to do it. Logan Carter tackled by Bonito, and it's 4th down. Got to take the points, don't you?
Yep.
Bit of a hesitation before Mike Gundy sends the field goal team out.
Credit the discipline play there of Nick Bonito. And another one of these young players not caught up in this moment, but playing good fundamental football to help get that stop in the red zone.
So Matt Amendola, who missed 3 of 4 against Kansas a couple of weeks ago, so uncharacteristic, made both against West Virginia. And he's made all 3 tonight. By the career game from Taylor Cornelius, more than 500 yards. Oklahoma hung on, stopping that 2-point conversion. Trey Brown into open space, but this is coming back. Brown lost it, but out of bounds.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 7, penalized half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Where they ran it 66 times. Pretty balanced so far tonight, although they didn't run heavy again. It is Brooks with a hole on 1st down, and he gets him some breathing room. And then some, gain of 15.
And this is the GT that Mike Gundy was talking about, the guard tackle polling, right? The counter play. Watch the guard and the tackle get out in front of this play. Right, you block down, you pull the guard and tackle. It is the staple of Bill Bedenbaugh's system. They do it more than anybody else. Right, in that defeating that initial block, you got to do it through penetration, or you got to run down the backside. One of the 2 things, and the Cowboys, well, they're not getting it done.
Brooks again. How about Kennedy Brooks moving to 100 yards tonight? Very quietly. 11 carries and 100 yards for Brooks.
Been kind of a quiet season because the touchdowns haven't been there. 12 of them a year ago in his 1,000-yard season. Just 3 this year. But with the loss of Trey Sermon, his activity is picked up here down the stretch. And he's showing you the threat he can be as well.
Mentioned it earlier, 165 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Cowboys last year, and having another big one here in Stillwater. On 2nd and 8, he's got it again, hits the hole hard, and gets stopped by Tyler Lacey. It's 3rd down. Oklahoma State's been the better 3rd down team so far tonight. 3rd and 3 for the Sooners. Hurts looking to throw. He's given time all day. Now it starts to break down. Hurts in trouble. Able to sneak through and get a 1st down. Somehow to extend the drive.
Well, I'll tell you, set in rhythm earlier in that 1st half. in rhythm. He should have thrown the swing to his left. He never gets there in rhythm. Instead, he holds it, and at that point, he is just looking for any space. And as powerful and as strong as he is at 220 pounds, he's got a way of just finding the will to move those chains, why this team is so good on third down.
One of the best in the country. On third down this season, above 50%. First down from the 33. Back to the ground, and Kennedy Brooks. Room off the left side. He spins to the 39, and a gain of 6 and a stop from Rodriguez. Couple of bodies crash into the ground after the play. The officials doing a good job of getting between them.
And this is a little bit of how the Cowboys have played this season defensively.
Bend, bend, bend.
Yes, and see if you can put it and sustain a drive of a lot of plays.
Hurts off play action, steps up in a crowded pocket, finds Jeremiah Hall for a big gain into Oklahoma State territory. He carries defenders all the way to the 36. 29 yards for the H-back.
I said to you earlier, he had a little swing route that he could have got to early on that third down progression. This time he gets through his read quickly, and he puts the ball in Hall's hands, who knows how to do damage.
Speaking of quickly, they're right back on it. In rhythm to the sideline. CeeDee Lamb against A.J. Green, close to a first down.
We have watched these Sooners a bunch, and it really is amazing. If they can just get completions for Jalen, right, just get the ball out of his hand, if his first option is there, or if he can quickly work through his progression, this team is different. I mean, they are almost impossible to defend in that way. It's when he holds it, right, that this offense seems to bog down.
A few times tonight he's held it a little bit too long. Oklahoma State's gotten 3 sacks. Brooks bounce into the outside, using the speed to get the corner. Angled out by Sterling. First down at the 11.
There it is again, that GT concept, that counter play that is just given Oklahoma State fits. You pull the guard and tackle around. The adjustment others have made. Baylor, Iowa State, they've been chasing, either chasing from the backside, or as I said earlier, puncturing that front side block. The Cowboys are doing neither. They're on their heels, and Kennedy Brooks is running free. Behind
Proctor and Hayes that time, and 40 yards on this drive to run his total on the night to 122. It's Brooks again, behind Proctor again.
So there is a slight adjustment, and there's a 4-down front. Right, just putting an extra body there on the line of scrimmage, because the same play's coming right at you, and I love that from Lincoln Riley. To me, the best coordinators are not the ones that always get too cute. If you're having success, keep calling it. You call it until they stop it. And then you know what? They make an adjustment. They go 4 down, and watch what Lincoln will do. He will see that, and then he will adjust. That's what the best play callers do.
You asked him this week, is it hard to stay patient when they're playing back, when they're just playing those 3-man fronts? And Lincoln said, you know what? Truthfully, no. Brooks again. Stays on his feet to the 2. Rodriguez all that kept him from scoring. 3rd down and 1 for Oklahoma.
This is where this stadium has to create some havoc.
Fisher, they call it 3rd and 2. Oklahoma State given time to sub because Oklahoma changed personnel. Hurts ducks under center. And a timeout for Lincoln Riley. Ran all the way up to the line of scrimmage to get that timeout in.
Going to trust some surge up front, see what Jalen can do.
6'2", 220 pounds. So tough, so strong. On 3rd and 2, he's in the backfield with Brooks. It is Brooks straight ahead, touchdown Oklahoma. He carried the load on a 93-yard drive, and he gets the glory.
A tidal wave of humanity. Watch this group here. Simply watch this play down and allow Kennedy to go crazy. Look at this movement. Look at that. Look at that surge right there. That surge that allows him to just plow right behind it and finish.
Jeremiah Hall, the H-back, who had a long reception on that drive, but a key block on that play. And the left side of the line, which was key the entire drive, does it again. 11 plays, 93 yards. 8 of those 11 plays were Kennedy Brooks runs, including the touchdown that puts Oklahoma back in front by 2 scores.
Kennedy and Jalen, the beneficiaries.
Thought that all-line played its most physical game last week, paving the way for the 366 yards and another good one.
Their added dimension, right? Just overcoming a little adversity, something a little bit out of the norm for everybody tonight because of the wind.
A first down pass play. 2-man in the pattern. Looking long. Dylan Stoner with a flag down. Stoner can't bring it in with the coverage from Parnell Motley. Aggressive first play call of this drive with 2 men in the pattern and both way down there.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 32. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Called Delarian Turner-Yell.
Remember a week ago, TCU had the ball, down a touchdown, needed a touchdown to win, and I said to you, I would throw 2 or 3 go routes to Jalen Reagor. Just take your shot in those one-on-one situations. I love that play call. I know it's windy, but throw a ball, contested ball to the guy that you trust up against these safeties and corners.
Play action, throwing again. Too tall for McCray, coverage from Brown, and another flag. There you go, Brock. I know it wasn't a go ball, but they're going at these corners with their big targets.
And you will see an in cut and go. All of this sets up. Look at that inside alignment there by Trey Brown. He's playing that inside anyway. Now, that to me is not that much more contact than the one we had earlier.
When you called for consistency.
Yep.
Pass interference, defense number 6. Spotted a foul, automatic first down.
These Sooners are 5'10", 186 on the back end. Right, and be it Dylan Stoner, be it Jordan McCray, be it some of these receivers, you've got to continue to attack that size advantage.
But you still have the nation's leading rusher in Chuba Hubbard. Takes the fake here. Sidearm sling, and it's McCray beating Motley, dragging him for a first down. With the attention on Hubbard, perhaps. Continue to wing it through the air. McCray has it for a first down.
At 6'6", $190, so he's lean, but he's long, and he's using that frame. And I love this aggressive mindset from Sean Gleason and Mike Gundy on this side.
Got to be getting to the point where you've got to trust Drew Brown wholeheartedly. He's 18 of 23 for 184.
But it's also getting to the point where this pass can help set up some of those running lanes too.
Who would have thought you'd be saying that with his personnel? Pretty crowded box here. Plenty of blockers in there for Oklahoma State. Paving the way for Hubbard. Able to get 4.
But look at that last before the snap. There are 9 Sooners around the line of scrimmage. And this wins. Alex Grinch is daring the other side, and Mike Gundy and crew to keep throwing it. Right, this is a defense that loves to have their safeties involved. They're a real quarters-based defense. Right, that means those safeties do come down, and it puts those corners in one-on-one situations on the outside.
Stoner motions into the near side on 2nd and 6. Oklahoma brings pressure. Brown lofting it into double coverage and incomplete. Radley Hiles defending Landon Wolf. 3rd and 6.
Radley Hiles, the big play a week ago, the game-clinching interception. He does a nice job just never allowing Wolf to separate, ever. Handsy, yes. But they've allowed him to play, save for one pass interference call tonight.
Buki, as they call him, is playing a good game tonight, leading the team in tackles. On 3rd and 6, they move Hubbard behind the center, takes the direct snap, comes straight downhill, and gets pulled down by Kenneth Murray. 4th down and a long 2. The minute 40 and counting in this 3rd quarter on a very windy night. They'll keep the offense on the field and bring 2 more tight ends in.
And that was a good play by K9 to sort through traffic and make that tackle. I do think with these conditions and in this wind and near in the 4th quarter, this is the right decision.
Converted a couple 4th downs last week. And good on 4th down all season. On 4th and 3, it's play action. Brown retreating. Thrown to the sideline, incomplete, and Oklahoma comes up with a stop.
I'm on a heavy run action. Look at the heavy tight ends in. He feels it. He drops back into his coverage. He can feel that receiver. He never loses sight, and that's big time.
Defending Logan Carter, who has just 4 catches all season.
In that position, Nick Benito, David Agwebu, they play that spot. Remember, Benito had the huge game-clinching saved interception against Baylor, and that 4th down could prove awfully big in this one.
Now does Oklahoma try to lean on him again. 9 of the 11 plays on the 93-yard touchdown drive a moment ago were runs. 8 of them from Brooks. Quarterback draw. Hurts got tripped up.
Yeah, by his own guy right there. Adrian Ely, the big right tackle's heel. About the only thing to slow down this run game. And yeah, you stick with that run. The other side is winning in some of those one-on-one battles outside. You're winning in the 5-on-5 battles right in those trenches.
Bring a safety down into the box here, and Trey Sterling, and he blitzes. Hurts running towards him. Ogbongbemiga can't bring him down at the spot that he got to him, but able to angle him out of bounds, and it's 3rd and short.
Maybe your favorite name to pronounce this season?
Once you get it down, it's a fun one.
Ogbongbemiga. Ogbongbemiga.
Got it.
The Canadian sensation sets up a huge 3rd down.
And 3 in the closing seconds of this 3rd quarter. Hurts. He's got enough. And the final play of the 3rd quarter is a 3rd and 3 conversion for Jalen Hurts. Oklahoma up 2 scores, and with the ball to begin the 4th in Bedlam when you come back. And Oklahoma doing it again on the ground. Second half last week, 39 of the 46 plays they ran were run plays. 3rd quarter of this one, 14 of their 17 plays run plays. And they begin the 4th with a bubble to Charleston Rambo, who gets absolutely pummeled by Trey Sterling. A flag flies, and it makes you think targeting.
Defenseless player.
Personal foul. Targeting. Defense number 3. The previous play is under further review.
Defenseless player, clearly, in the act of catching the ball. Then it becomes about forcible contact to the head or neck area. Is there a launch? Yes. Is there forcible contact to the head or neck area on a defenseless player? Yes. This should be quickly confirmed. And what you've got to teach Trey, and the stadium loves it, and defensive players love it, you have to change your strike zone. Right? Rambo didn't even drop down on this one.
You lower it a touch, and it's a good hit.
I mean, man.
After further review, the ruling on the field of targeting is confirmed. Number 3 is disqualified from the game. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic 1st down.
And I know for decades and decades.
Been a big night for Kennedy Brooks. Adds 2 or 3. Ogbongbemiga, another tackle.
You know, on Fox tomorrow, you're going to watch the Ravens and the 49ers go at it. You know what the Ravens and Lamar Jackson have become amazing at? Closers. When they have a lead in this 4th quarter, to just use that clock and pound people on the ground. And you can almost see the personality of this Sooner team liking this.
Because that has not been part of their personality in November. They have hung on as opposed to really finishing teams. In the hands of CeeDee Lamb. He's crunched by Harvell Peel. 3rd down, and we check in with Bruce.
Joe, you're talking about the personality change. At the start of the 4th quarter, the consistent message with almost every assistant coach to his group was close. Let's close this thing out. They feel like they have taken this over. They feel like they've imposed their will on their arch rival. Right now, this is the team that's trying to make a statement.
Yeah, and looking at a big 3rd and 5 here from the Oklahoma State 42. Receivers over there waving, hey, hold on. More coming in from Lincoln Riley. Here comes pressure. Hurts throws into it. Finds Nick Basquin for a first down.
And then what do you got to do? You got to sell out. You got to bring a cover zero blitz everybody and leave a one-on-one situation and so much space. Exactly what Jalen Hurts was looking for. You want to bring the blitz? Then we'll just play a little game of pitch and catch with that much cushion. And the 6-year senior can not only throw touchdowns, he can catch huge third down conversions.
Second catch tonight. First down at the 33. This is a free play. Hurts knows it. Launching Basquin, incomplete. But Trace Ford was way offside.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Should be right here. That's some frustration. You know, when you've been run at these last 2 snaps. Now you want to try to take advantage and try to take it out on that opponent, get a head start at it via blitz, or in that case with the rush. You can't.
Brooks right side. Carvel Peel brings him down with Rodriguez. Kennedy Brooks, after running for 165 and 3 scores against the Cowboys last year, has 139 and a touchdown tonight. And plenty more coming, you'd figure, as they try to grind this clock.
And that was that old GT once again. I mean, just charting that play, you're right back at about 8-9 yards of play.
Pulling both Proctor and Hayes. 2nd and 1. Hurts will pull it. Able to make Ogbongbemiga miss long enough to get a first down.
Yeah, one of our favorite lines of the season. You want to feel the soul of your opponent wilt. That's what Bill Bedenbaugh and that O-line, so many pros I know watching this game on Saturday night in hotel rooms all across the country that played for that man, and all of them celebrating Creed Humphrey and this O-line, looking at the technique, looking at the fundamentals, but most importantly, looking at them physically imposing their will and celebrating this batch of Sooner O-linemen.
About 70% run tonight for the Sooners. Again, behind a pulling guard and tackle, it's Brooks doing a little bit on his own, breaking multiple tackles and setting up first down and goal.
And you're going to see Fofana, 97 here on the edge. He's trying to do what Mike Gundy wants him to do, and that's chase that play down. But he can't. And it's too good a blocking on the front side. It's the patience of Kennedy Brooks to allow Proctor, to allow Hayes. It's hard to do for those backs, and so many times you see young backs run up into the backs of those linemen. Brooks is trusting it. They're trusting this run game, and it's dominant.
Right about the situation Jalen Hurts in Oklahoma had TCU last week. A chance to put him away before the pick 6 that Hurts threw. Lincoln Riley came running in to try and avoid the delay.
It's 2014, especially in these Novembers.
Touchdown to make it a 3-score lead for the Sooners. Here comes CeeDee Lamb around the edge, trying to use his speed and then trying to use his strength. He's tucked his shoulder down. A.J. Green chopped him down, a gain of 1.
Yeah, and I know that CeeDee's a good soldier and he's a great teammate, and Lincoln will tell you that he doesn't care that he's not getting the number of touches, but you know what? Playmakers want the ball. He had a run in the first quarter. He's gotten very few touches in the passing game because the team's not committing to passing. And I think that was trying to appease the superstar just a little.
Play action. Wide open in the flats for the 3rd consecutive week. Braden Willis has a touchdown. And the Sooners pulling away from Oklahoma State.
Yeah, about as easy as it gets here. When you get in those bunch formations and that inside receiver, so hard for those defenders that are selling out run, just lose their eyes. And Willis, the beneficiary. This is impressive, Joe. I mean, this is as impressive as these Sooners have looked in a long time.
10 plays, 73 yards. And they lead it by 3 scores. The Big Uglies, as Keith Jackson used to call them, getting the love tonight. Over the last month for Oklahoma, and for good reason. Since the loss to Kansas State, they've leaned more and more on their run game.
I think that was It was Bill Bedenbaugh and Creed Humphrey. Do you think that's what Bill looked like back in the day? It's cool.
Yeah.
Similar game, man. Just dominant. I love giving those O-linemen credit, especially when they take over games, as that group really has. You can get him involved in the passing game, right? In the screen game, you still got to get the ball in your home run hitter's hands.
They do here. David Ugwoegbu playing one of his best games. True freshman at Katy, Texas, has another tackle.
I think I must say his best game.
Yeah.
Right, and he was getting a bunch of opportunities, and I think like a lot of freshmen hit a little bit of a wall, but now down the closing stretch, he's playing really well tonight.
Hubbard on the ground. Stopped by Radley Hiles. Now double-figure tackles for the nickel. Hubbard in the first half, 16 carries for 79 yards. He's got just 20 yards on 5 carries since the break.
Not many touches, not many chances. That's what dominant run teams do to you. Just shorten the game and limit your opportunities offensively.
9.5 left to go. 3rd and 2 for Oklahoma State. Back to Chuba. Didn't get it. 4th and 1. And Ugwoegbu again was in there.
Ugwoegbu sets the edge, and then the rest of those Sooners can fly. That's just really what was not happening the last month of this season or so. Nobody really winning on that edge, setting the edge, and then letting the rest of the team's speed come and finish.
That's what they're supposed to be under Alex Grinch and his speed D. Oklahoma State taking a long time to get these calls in. Down 3 scores, 8:40 to go on 4th and 1. It's Hubbard, and he stopped short. Bonito and Murray both in there. And with 8:36 left to go, Oklahoma takes over on downs.
Well, Oklahoma State has done this a few times, and that's all 3 of their big cowboy backs. But the problem, we talk about setting that edge and then the team pursuit coming to finish. Watch this. You set the edge outside, and then you allow the rest of the Sooners to come and finish. And not only set the edge, does Bonito, he's unblocked. I mean, that just cannot happen in that situation. You've got to get a hat on a hat and win that edge first. And if Lincoln Riley liked his defense at halftime, as he told Bruce Feldman, he loves what he's seeing in this second half. This is back to the Sooner ball they were playing the first 7 weeks.
When the story was all about the huge turnaround from last season, when they were the worst defense in the Big 12, really the last couple years.
And it was complimentary football.
Handed off to Kennedy Brooks. Big hole over the left side of that line behind Proctor and Hayes again, but there is a flag down.
This is
holding offense number 54. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Goes on Hayes.
Yeah, one of the rare mistakes, the hands just get outside the frame. But this is the kind of game that if you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan, you want the committee to be watching. You want to be playing your best and peaking at the right time. And next week, well, you're going to get Baylor. And Baylor's going to move up a notch with Minnesota's loss. They're going to be number 8 team in America. And this is the kind of complementary offense, defense, special teams that you want to put it all together. A statement game when it matters.
Penalty, first down and long. Charleston Rainbow. Stopped by, no doubt he'll be there. Will Jalen Hurts be in New York for the Heisman ceremony? Brooks trips and falls, 3rd and long.
That LSU team never stumbled offensively. I mean, not even once. They stepped on the gas at the beginning and really never, ever stepped off it.
Hurts headed to New York, you think? A lot of competition. It is quite a race.
There is. I think next week we'll have a lot to say about that in that matchup again with Baylor.
3rd and 16 from the 39, and the hard count gets him to jump. A couple times they've gotten that tonight.
Full start. Offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
It's a hard count combination with a little movement from the right guard, Tyrese Robinson.
Yeah, you just give these O-linemen all this credit, right? And then Hayes has the hold. His buddy Robinson on the other side. Really the first couple negative plays at all this entire evening.
Inside 7 minutes in an 18-point game, 3rd and 20. As Bill Bedenbaugh looks on, and Hurts will tuck and get what he can, which is not much. Ogbong Bamiga with the tackle. There is a flag down.
And that might be another hold. On the left guard.
Holding. Offense, number 54. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
No, more important than the Jalen Hurts Heisman conversation is the Oklahoma College Football Playoff conversation. Utah, another dominant win tonight. 45-15 over Colorado. Lincoln Riley hot.
Oh, yeah.
After these back-to-back penalties.
Well, with the way leads have evaporated for him, oftentimes this month of November, 21-point lead over Iowa State. 21-point lead over TCU, and those games came right back down to the wire. I think Lincoln's reinforcing that point to the big fellas.
Oklahoma State comes after it, and no flag despite a little bit of contact there. And Oklahoma State will have it. We'll continue that discussion about the Sooners and their playoff hopes when you come back. Going into the Pac-12 championship next weekend. Drew Brown to throw on first down right before he gets drilled. Delivers for Stoner, but out of bounds, and it's 2nd and 10. What do you think the equation is for the Sooners to get in? There's a flag down, by the way. Been a lot of those lately.
Well, today helped them big time with Alabama losing and getting that second loss. They got to finish this game over the final 6 minutes. Got to finish Baylor. That goes without saying. Period. End of story. And win this Big 12. But then you need, either a Utah or Clemson loss.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 96. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That's on Caleb Kelly. The 8th Oklahoma penalty tonight. You can understand some of the boiling frustration from Lincoln Riley you saw a moment ago.
Yep.
So you think that if Utah wins and Oklahoma wins, Utah's getting in?
I think because of the strength of what they've done over the course of the entire season.
Brown pumping short and going long. On Stoner again. The wind grabbing a hold of that. Pouring it out of bounds. 2nd and 10.
I mean, those are the debates, and those are the debates they've been having already, and that Lincoln Riley listens zero to. Absolutely zero, zip, zilch. Okay, but you're going to need LSU to win. You need chalk to win at the top, right? LSU and Ohio State win. I think Clemson's going to take care of business, so that really becomes about Oregon and Utah, which I do think will be a highly contested game.
Lone loss for Oklahoma at Kansas State. Lone loss for Utah at USC, which has looked better and better as the season has gone on. Now, I think Oklahoma's resume has also looked better and better. Baylor now looks like the real deal. And if Lincoln Riley's team wins next week, and we're having this discussion for real, they're going to have 2 wins against what will be a top 15 Baylor team. They're going to have a win against Oklahoma State. There's a good chance they'll be top 25 still. Iowa State moved into the top 25 recently. And so the full body of work, I know Utah has done it handily, but the teams that Oklahoma will have beaten, I think, stack up very favorably against the teams that Utah will have beaten.
Yeah, this November could hardly have gone any better for Oklahoma. With Oregon losing, with Alabama losing, with Baylor continuing to win and be dominant, be number 8, I believe, in the committee's rankings come Tuesday. All of those things.
Stoner for a first down.
But these final 4 minutes and 54 seconds matter too. Like, you've got to close this game out. And, I like having this conversation, great conversation. But as this season has evolved and this defense has had a hard time stringing consistency together for the last 5 weeks, finish this one first.
Not counting your eggs before they hatch. Hubbard moving over 100 yards. It's been tough sledding since a really good first quarter for him. But he does again reach 100 yards, and he's done so in 14 of his 16 career starts.
By the way, speaking about that rematch with Baylor, that's going to be tremendous theater, because Baylor defensively was and has been really good other than the second half against Oklahoma.
Brown scrambling around on 2nd and 5. Tripped up by guess who? David Ugwoegbu. Officially his best game as a Sooner.
And that sack is just going to continue to knock a bunch of this precious time off the clock.
Inside 4 minutes now. Sooners twist up front, and Ugwoegbu flushes him off his spot. He got rid of it just in time, and Brown was open, but the throw was low. 4th and 10.
And this is as active as we have seen these guys. Right, this defense, and I love the way Alex Grinch kind of said it to us over the last few weeks. There's been some scar tissue over the last 3-4 years as that group has struggled a bunch. And I think the first 7 weeks hid some of that. Conference play has brought some of it about, but this has been one of their most consistent efforts in the last 5 weeks. Flying around, playing that speed D, creating some of that chaos the system's built to do.
4th and 10, last gasp for Brown and the Cowboys. He's chased, he throws. Intercepted. Parnell Motley thought he'd gotten one during the first half. It was overturned. This one, it appears, will be good. And Oklahoma is going to beat Oklahoma State for the 5th consecutive time. Parnell Motley, forced fumble, fumble recovery, and an interception as we take a look at our TireRack.com game summary.
And when you're a senior playing your final rivalry game, one you've dominated, you love to go out and finish it. Exactly what Parnell has done. Forced the fumble earlier, almost had an interception. We thought it was interception, got overturned, and then ultimately that dagger on 4th down.
Stevenson, first carry of the night for Rhamondre, and it is a big one. Rhamondre Stevenson to the 23. A run of 49.
Well, he averages 7.9 on the season. He's also #1 in America at 6.5 yards after contact. Both of those numbers going to go way up. He had a huge 3rd down conversion early in this game on a curl route.
Like a split end.
Yes, 15-yard curl route. Last week, he blocked his tail off to set up Kennedy Brooks. Everybody getting in on their action and developing their own roles, which is so cool over the course of the season.
Running game going to final line be impressive again. 39 rushes for 273 for Oklahoma. 1st and 10, 2.5 left. Stevenson again. He'll take this one. Back-to-back big runs, although a flag flies in late.
54, 10-yard penalty, replay 1st down.
Goes on Hayes, who drew the ire of Lincoln Riley last drive.
He did. He just got his hands outside the frame. This time he just pretty clear and obvious pull. He loses off the snap, right? And it's that tug right there that takes 6 off the board and a touchdown away from Stevenson. Just got to move your feet, big fella. He's been so active with Proctor in their polling game, right? That guard tackle pull game. That time in their zone concept, just, yep. Lincoln's like, gotta be kidding me.
Well, running the clock, yes, but looking for style points too. Not going to get any there. Brock Martin makes the tackle. Next Saturday
was the big fellas and J.K. Dobbins that took the game over this morning.
Stevenson steps out of a tackle, then stumbles to the 29.
Much faster and stronger. That'll be a real challenge for Paul Chryst, but kudos to them to go up to Minneapolis and win today.
Jaden Hazelwood for a gain of 5 and 4th down coming up here inside a minute. Speaking of defense, I think it's worth mentioning Oklahoma's defense again. Last 2.5 games now, they've given up a total of 3 touchdowns. Injured players Harvell Peel. They shut out Baylor in the second half, allowing them to come from behind. Biggest comeback win in program history. They held TCU to 2 offensive touchdowns last week, and just the 1 touchdown in the very first drive tonight. You hope obviously nothing serious for Colby Harvell Peel. Breakout star this season, All-American candidate. Have some time to heal up before the bowl game.
He has been so good on the back end of that defense and will be for the next few years here. Lincoln Riley knew what he was up against. It was a red-hot defense the last month, playing some very good ball, taking the ball away. But you talked about this Oklahoma defense, and any defensive coach will tell you their best friends is a complementary offense.
Well, this is weird. They just declared the game over. How about the old 48-second runoff to finish? That is weird. Well, I don't think the outcome was in question anymore, so it is what it is, and it is 34-16. Oklahoma, 11-1, headed to the Big 12 championship game with 1 more opportunity to make their case for the college football playoff.
Yeah, and I think that was just because of the defender injury with the clock and then running it all the way down in a game that was obviously decided. One that Mike Gundy was not taking his time out, said he's going to tip his cap to these Sooners. They were frankly the much better team in that second half.
Let's go down to Bruce.
Thanks, Joe. Lincoln, this is always a hot rivalry. What was different? What was the difference for you guys today?
I thought our defense played really well, especially there in the second half. You know, the turnovers that we got obviously were huge parts of the game. And then able to run the ball pretty well again offensively.
You guys have been to the playoff the last few years. How critical is it at this point to make a statement to the committee about what you're doing, not just win, but win impressively?
I don't know. You know, our recipe has just been winning. You know, whether it's by 1, whether it's by 40, whatever it is. You have to win big games in November. We've been able to do that the last several years. Put ourselves in position. We've done it again, and we're going to go try to win another one next week.
What was different about the defense tonight, you think?
I think getting the turnovers was big, you know, and then we never really let Hubbard just get completely loose, which that was a focus going in. We knew he had the ability to take it 60-70, and we did a pretty good job keeping him from doing that. A
few weeks ago, you had a roller coaster ride with Baylor and Waco. How does this matchup shape up next week?
Oh, it'll be fun. They got a great team. They played extremely well. You know, you're right. We had a great game with them in Waco. Certainly looking forward to getting down to Arlington, doing it again.
All right, thanks, Coach. Joe, back to you.
All right, Bruce, and trying to do the same trick they've done a few times over the last few years. 2015, his first season in Norman. He was the OC. They lose to Texas. They win 7 straight to go to the playoff. 2017, they lose to Iowa State. They win 8 straight, make the playoff. And last year, they lose to Texas, win 7 straight to make the playoff. Trying to follow the loss to Kansas State with 5 in a row to do it again. 34-16 the final. Back with more post-game coverage after this. Jalen Hurts celebrating a win in his only Bedlam game. 34-16 the final.
Run the football to beat TCU and run it 61 times. We will. And if you got to do the same on a windy night in Stillwater in a rivalry game because you're owning the point of attack, they will. I think that says something about this head coach and coordinator.
And they did 44 runs for 283 yards, and you said going to be some good theater against Baylor in the rematch next week.
Yeah, because Baylor's very different. Baylor is the one team in this league, and every coach we've talked to, I think we've seen just about everybody in the Big 12 this year, and they all say the same thing. Baylor is violent. Baylor can dominate with 3 people. They really did against Oklahoma in that first half, and it took the greatest comeback in the history of Sooner football to beat them in Waco the first time.
You know, they'll be licking their chops at a rematch, Baylor will, as Oklahoma tries to win a 5th consecutive conference title.
Fascinating psychology in that one, too. Like, who has the legitimate advantage going in? But, yeah, it's going to be, I think, a phenomenal football game, you know, as were a bunch of these for Oklahoma in this month of November.
Congratulations on your first year at Fox.
That went fast.
It did, huh?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, this game kind of went fast as that clock was running.
We'd like you back for another year.
We'll do it.
I hope the bosses actually want him back, because I think I just offered him another year. Yes. All right, this is a fun one tonight in Stillwater. Oklahoma wins it and moves to 11-1. They've won 5 consecutive Bedlam games now, and they'll look for a 5th consecutive conference championship next week. 34-16, the final. Be sure to tune in to Fox tomorrow for a full slate of NFL action, highlighted by Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens at 1 Eastern. So long from Stillwater, where Oklahoma tops Oklahoma State.